I'll have a blue Christmas watching the Suns. I'll be so blue seeing how bad they suck. The Suns fucking suck, and it's not right. Matthew, we gave up.
What was the last part?
I don't know.
You cut out the last part to me.
You cut out because I don't know. It sounded like you were landing a plane there. We gave up 50 to Luka tonight for the second time in less than 10 days exactly. The Suns have given up a 50-point score. On December 15th, it was Jalen Brunson. Tonight, it was Luka Doncic. Merry Christmas to all. And to all. We suck, right?
Yeah, that's great. I did see Mr. Orange did tweet out that Devin Booker ran opposite of the Suns tunnel. Matt Ishbia after him, basically. So we'll see. Something's going to be going down tonight or tomorrow. There has to be something, right? Someone's going to be let go. Some words are going to, I mean, the words are already happening. Like, this is a Kevin Durant team, right? He's going to start talking behind the scenes. Woj is going to say shit. How fun. I'm so glad KD's on our fucking team, dude. All right. Sorry, man.
It's okay. There's a lot of things broken with this team right now. There's a lot of issues when it comes to give a shit, attitude, effort, try. There's when Grayson Allen and Chimezie Metu are carrying your team on a Christmas night, there's something wrong with your team. When Luka Doncic is at will eviscerating your team, granted, he's a great player. We know that. But there's no defensive adjustments. The only thing that saved the Suns for a brief moment in this game in the third quarter is the fact that the Mavericks stopped hitting wide open three-pointers. Outside of that, this team, the Phoenix Suns, look like pew-pew.
They sure do. I know there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of different directions we'll go. So I don't know. I did forget. I had some eggnog left over. I'm probably going to go grab some. I know it's late and I got to work tomorrow, but I just wanted something to sip on.
Yeah, I got a beer. It's late and I got to work tomorrow too, but it's not a good night for Phoenix Suns fans. We are now 14-15 on the season, and once upon a time, this was a team that had won 7 in a row. I believe their record was, what was their record after they won 7 in a row? 11-5, 11-6, something like that. If that's the case, I'm looking it up real quick. Yeah, we were 11-6. Okay, since then, we are 3-9 in our last 12, 3-9. So, welcome to the Suns Jam Session podcast, aka a therapy session tonight, where we have plenty to talk about and dissect when it comes to the Phoenix Suns team. Matt Ishbia was in the house, and hopefully he's in the back in the locker room as we speak, fucking firing Frank Vogel. I'm done. And we'll get to that and plenty more on this edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. So subscribe, rate, review, read my writing at Bright Side of the Sun. It's depressing shit these days. If you want to be depressed, head over to brightsideofthesun.com and I will just fortify all of the feelings that you are currently going through. This is also a reminder, if you go to phoenixfits.com or .net, you can get 10% off if you put Suns Jam 10 into the coupon code. But at the end of the day, why would you want to wear any Phoenix Suns stuff? They're just ass. So pop them if you got them. Grab your eggnog. Let's talk about this. Suns lose at home 128-114, giving up 37 points in the fourth quarter because that's what they do. They give up massive amounts of points in the fourth quarter while turning the ball over themselves. Which brings me to my first question.
Oi, Matty. Mate, I've got to ask.
Matthew, here we are. It's Christmas Day in the Valley, and we get an opportunity to watch our Phoenix Suns play on the national level. And they lose once again. They have not won a Christmas Day game since 2009 against the Los Angeles Clippers. And Eric Gordon was on that team. He had 11 points for LA that day. Devin Booker was 13 years old. Phoenix Suns, again, as I mentioned, completely choke it away in the fourth quarter. So my question for you, Matthew, is what the fuck is wrong with Kevin Durant in fourth quarters?
I don't know. I mean, fourth quarters or just overall? I mean, I don't know, man.
Well,
Fourth quarters.
fourth quarter, he was 1 of 3 from the field. He had 5 points. He had 3 turnovers. And twice coming out of timeouts, the Suns had design plays, and they ended up being just Kevin Durant turnovers. So what the fuck is wrong with Kevin Durant in fourth quarters this year? There's a big part of this team that has challenges in the fourth quarters. We know that. But Kevin Durant has had these challenges. And tonight was the first time, Matthew, he looked like he didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Am I wrong there? Did it look like
No.
there was just some I don't give a shit from kind of jogging? Maybe he's tired. I don't know. Maybe he's tired of carrying the team for as long as he has. But he did not look like he wanted to be there, kind of stuff. And it's kind of scary, especially when the first thing that we wake up to this morning, the gift that we unwrap underneath the Christmas tree, is Adrian Wojnarowski going on to the NBA Countdown and making just those statements that Kevin Durant, that people around the Phoenix organization are saying that Kevin Durant is frustrated. And it's understandable he's frustrated. This entire team should be frustrated with their recent performances. But when you start to see those kind of things translate to lack of effort on the court and lack of engagement from one of the greatest players to ever play this game, and we've consistently seen issues with him when it comes to fourth quarter. He's a top 10 turnovers in the fourth quarter person in the league. You got to start asking, like, what is really wrong right now?
Yeah, when that happened this morning, I mean, the fourth quarter tonight was just something different. I mean, the way basically the whole game, Kevin Durant hung his head after every play, every shot given up by him or a fellow teammate. Just, if the lead like piled onto 10 or 11 points by the Mavericks, just another shot, like, oh man, the fuck, like the body language was terrible, right? So it kind of just was the whole game with him, and he just seemed disinterested today. I know he's been playing great this season, right? But the thing is, like, the going is getting tough right now. And what I love about Book usually is he keeps everything in house. Then you wake up today, like you said, to the Woj news about we're frustrated, we're losing. Of course, we're fucking frustrated, dude.
Yeah.
So this just had me thinking today, and yeah, we're all frustrated. But it's like if the going gets tough for this team, is KD gonna hang around, right? KD has to realize, like, we gave up everything for him. And then, yeah, good job. You're playing the whole fucking season. You're putting up great stats, right? But we're not winning right now.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing you can do right now is have the media talk about us, leak stuff out there. Maybe it is Vogel. Maybe there's something serious behind the scenes. I mentioned it podcasts ago about him and Book maybe not getting along. Who knows what's going on, dude? But he has to hang in there, and this stuff just can't happen unless you're trying to get Vogel fired, unless he knows the whole team is just completely done with our coaching staff, and he's just like, this is the way to get rid of them.
Yeah.
We have to let something leak. This is the way it works. And they're like, all right, fine. And Book's like, fine, dude, this is not my style, but we'll go ahead and do this and see if we can get rid of them. That's the only thing. But right now, man, it's difficult, especially when other guys step up tonight, and those two just are dog shit.
Yeah, Kevin Durant in this game, 4 of 11 from the field, only 11 shots, which is the fourth most on the team. Fifth most shots by a Phoenix Sun tonight, Kevin Durant. 16 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, 1 block, 6 turnovers. So a lot of what you're saying, there's a semblance of validity to it because of actions on the court, right? We know what it's like to experience players who don't give a shit here in Phoenix. Just look at our last 5 years with DeAndre Ayton, how frustrating that is.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant, when you're starting to do it, obviously he, much akin to Durant last year, who's a max player, like you can't have that. You can't have that. You can't have that visible frustration and you being responsible for the visible frustration, right? Like last year when DeAndre Ayton would get frustrated, it was a lot of times it was his own doing. It was him who was not engaged. And then when he would have an opportunity to kind of step into the game and start to try to engage, and he would fumble the ball away, he'd hang his head and he'd jog back down the court haphazardly. Kevin Durant tonight was responsible for numerous turnovers, and the way that he would kind of job up and down the court and not close out on his defender and not be engaged was it's a movie script we've seen, and we don't like the way that it ends. And I love Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is one of my favorite players of all time. And to see him out there after hearing the news, after knowing that the Suns are struggling, and I get it, they're going through it right now. So he probably is less engaged because of what they're going through. But you're the guy who's supposed to affect change. You're the guy who's supposed to be the leader on the court. You're the guy who is a lead by example guy, because that's who Kevin Durant is. He's not a vocal guy. He's not going to go out there and shout at people the way that Chris Paul used to and try to inspire by providing direction. He shows you with his effort how he can lead. And tonight they needed him. The other guys picked up the slack, and we've been waiting for the other guys to pick up the slack for quite some time. And it would have been great if Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, I mean, he's not going to get out of this one unscathed either, in my opinion. This would have been a great opportunity for both of them to kind of step up. And after Grayson Allen and Chimezie Metu put forth the effort that they did, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant saying, you know what, we got this from here. Thanks, guys, for giving us a quarter off from scoring, essentially. We're going to close this bitch out. And they couldn't, and they didn't. And it begs the question, as you mentioned, is there something serious going on with the Suns and they're done with Vogel? Is there something where it's Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and they're hanging out on Christmas Eve and they're sitting around a barbecue and they're just like, you know what? Not a fan of Vogel. Okay, let's suck for a little bit. And I don't even know if it's that, because they've done all the sucking they need to do. The team has done the sucking, if you will.
Yeah, and it sucks because we're like, well, you don't want to lose on purpose, right, to get him out of here. But then, of course, winning changes everything so quickly. So if that's the agenda, to get Vogel out of here, to lose a couple games or something, if it's that bad where no one's responding to him, then I kind of understand it. But it just kind of sucks because, I mean, you posted the thing of like, I miss the fun times in Phoenix with McHale and Cameron Johnson, because it's true, right? We did lose the game 7 the way we did, but guess who was on that team? Chris Paul and Devin Booker, who stunk up. Like, they definitely had COVID or something in that game, right? That team was built for a championship for sure. So now that Kevin Durant's looking at this roster, it's just like, does he know like who they need to add? Is there someone out there? He's like, all right, so
but there is no
That's
adding.
What I'm saying. So then what is going on right now to where you can just lose on purpose, lose a coach? That way you can have more control of the team, and then you and Book can really do your own thing. Is Book just trying to set guys up too much? Is he playing too much of a point guard role? Like, I don't know. And I guess we'll find out, of course, in the next few days, I feel like, because I don't think the fan bases have ever reached like the tipping point like today in the game before. It's always just, we all have no words after every game. It just has to end sometime.
And the challenge is there are no outs right now. That is what we're all facing, is the fact that the Phoenix Suns have no outs. Now, we have a couple outs, and those are going to start to be brought to light. Those discussions are going to start to happen. Frank Vogel's one of them. And we could talk about that, but I'll talk about a couple, and I don't think we need to go into in depth yet because I don't think we're there. But trade Kevin Durant. Trade Devin Booker. Those are your outs. If you want to enhance this team in the long run, not the short run, the long run, because you've already sniped your future. With all the picks that you gave up for Kevin Durant, the picks that you gave up for Bradley Beal. And again, that's what a lot of people say. Well, once Bradley Beal gets healthy, man, it's all going to be good. Is it? Is like Bradley Beal that much of a needle mover on defense? Because that's where this team is unbelievably lost. Luka Doncic ran the same action like 8 times, getting the ball to Lively down in the paint, and it was like a dunk or a tiny jump hook. Over and over. And when the Suns finally made a slight adjustment to it, Lively would just kick it out to the corner, and there would be Derrick Jones Jr. or Tim Hardaway Jr. just standing out there shooting wide open. Like, defensively, they are so archaic in the way that they adjust to games. It makes Monty Williams look like the highest paid coach in the NBA. Embarrassing.
You know, my mind went there too. It's like, well, you know, with Monty being here, you know, Chris Paul's more of the coach and just pretty much handled the whole thing and ran everything. But it's like, you got a better coach in Vogel. You kind of thought like, you know what, we didn't have the guys really defensively maybe we needed, but maybe he can scheme something together.
Yes.
And then like my mind starts to it wanders to where like, you know, I hope everything is good with Nurk. I don't know what happened with him, and I hope that it's nothing of a family issue or anything. And I don't want to say like, oh, maybe he left because things have gotten so bad to where he's like, I'm not dealing with this shit. Because who got the most shit on the court all the time in front of everybody, in front of millions? It was Nurk all the time, right? So if things never got better for him between him and Kevin Durant and Booker, on the court, I was like, dude, this guy's taking a lot of shit. Like, I don't know how much more he would want to take from these guys. So I started thinking about that. I'm like, is he taking a leave of absence for that reason? And
He's taking a mental break from the Suns.
I'm just like, if there's so much, if they're expecting more from this
guy, can I take a
maybe
mental break from the Suns?
I want to every game. You think I look forward to watching this team?
No. Raise your hand. Like, yeah, seriously, like Jamsters. How many of you woke up this morning like, dude, the fucking Suns play tonight? Fuck yeah, I can't wait. No, especially if you're living out here. It's like, okay, great, 8:30 game. So the last motherfucker of the night at the very end, not even 8 o'clock, 8:30, which means it's going to be an 8:45 tip. And you know you're playing the Mavericks, and you know that Nurk is out and Beal's out. And they're like, oh, Kyrie Irving's out. I'm like, I don't give a shit. They got Luka Doncic, who owns the fucking Suns. He is Devin Booker's daddy. Just admit it and move on. He is. He outplays them every time they play each other. I don't give a shit. It's just facts. Do I want it to be reality? No. Is it reality? Yes. Okay. But I wasn't looking forward to this in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I saw you today. I was like, man, remember the good old days when we didn't play on Christmas? This is good old, like I'd rather, and like that's where we are as Suns fans, because this team is consistently underwhelming in so many different aspects of the game. It's not like it was at the beginning of the season. The beginning of the season, we're like, hey, man, you shore up those turnovers, this team's going to be good because, we're turning the ball over 22 times a game. We don't do that. We don't give the opposition a few extra possessions. We can win these games. But everything else has started to crumble. That foundation that had a crack in it that was turnovers has multiple cracks and has fallen apart now because it's lack of offensive cohesion, lack of defensive communication and consistency. Turnovers are still happening. What was it? The last 3 games prior to this, the Phoenix Suns hit a total of 17 shots from beyond the arc, which was the least amount of shots made by any team in a 3-game span thus far this season. So it's just thing after thing, lack of adjustments, lack of give a shit, lack of size, lack of rebound, and then it's a lack of outs. And that's the challenge. That's what makes this so dreadful, because we can't even sit there and look at possible things that can give us hope. Give us hope. Like, oh, hey, the Atlanta Hawks are talking about potentially moving on from Clint Capella. I could see that working in Phoenix. How do you make that work? You can't. Cool. All right. Well, that was a fun conversation. He's $20 million a year. There's no way we can do it unless we trade like Nurkic and Nasir Little. And the Suns aren't going to do that. They're just not going to do that.
No, they're not. And like you said, there's no outs. But I love how you just like there was a little bit of a crack. And we all knew it. We saw that this team was it. They had everything, right? So a lot of us are saying like, they don't have the guys around them. They're not built really to win a championship, right? Of course, Beal is out, but we have 2 superstars, 2 top 15 guys, right? At least maybe even top 10 if they're playing at their elite levels.
Yeah.
The guys around them, they're enough to win these fucking regular season games against these terrible teams. Mavericks are decent. Of course, they're good. They're up in the standings. They're way above the Suns right now. What are they? I don't even know.
18 and 12.
Yeah, 18 and 12. So they definitely are a team that you should match up well and make it a contested game towards the end. And it's not even that because you have KD who can't blow by anybody ever. So you have these guys out there that can contend with the Mavericks, but then they're down by 10 most of the game. They had the big run. That's not even from Book and KD. Yeah. It's from the other guys. And they're like, okay, well, KD will have a big fourth. Maybe Booker will hit some big shots. Not there. Like, Booker is just so non-existent. It's the strangest thing. He was Michael Jordan this year, dude. Kobe Bryant sometimes in some games. You know what I mean? So it's just a weird thing. And the vibe started today with being off, and it's going to continue to be that way until something happens. And that's just so disappointing. I can't believe we're right here right now, John. I can't believe we're in this fucking position. I understand being 500 and losing, but in a position after a game and a post-game podcast where we're just like, there's no outs. We can't get out of this mess. What? How is there such a big mess already, dude?
Like this bad of a mess.
Yes.
This bad of a mess. That if the Suns are in a tailspin and there's no solutions. So one of those solutions potentially could be fire Frank Vogel. And something that I've talked about on the podcast that you don't do it. Right at this point of the season, you just don't do it. There's nothing that you can do that makes sense in the long term that says if I fire Frank Vogel, that this is going to provide us with the positive outcome that we need. Right? History goes against that. I'm flipping the script. I'm completely for firing Frank Vogel. Completely hit reset. I don't give a shit. You can't get worse than this. Like, whoever they bring in will not be worse than what they're doing. Oh, they're going to lose more games than they're continuing to lose? Like, get out of here. Maybe it's like new coach syndrome in the NFL. It seems like every time a coach gets fired, the next week they bring in an interim head coach, and then he wins a game, right? Maybe that'll happen here. They'll can Frank Vogel, and Kevin Young will be the interim head coach for like 10 games while they're searching for somebody, and maybe they'll win some of them because of sheer change. But something's not working with fake Vogel, because that's who he is. He's fake Vogel. This guy, he seriously, every press conference this guy does, he feeds you a line of bullshit. He doesn't tell you what's actually going on. You're like, hey, so Bradley Beal, how's he feeling? He's like, yeah, he's going to start tonight. He's looking good. And then they're like, he's not starting. You're like, oh, thanks, fake Vogel, for not telling me correct information. And he'll sit there and he'll smile at you, and he'll tell you just, very vague statements, and none of it's true. Yeah, everyone's getting along great. Well, that must mean that they're not fake Vogel, because you're full of fucking shit. So I don't know necessarily what the solution is out there, but I don't think that Frank Vogel is it. He's come in, he hasn't proven in any way, shape, or form that he can guide this team to where they want to go. Now, are players quitting on him in the court? That might be what we're seeing, and that's what you're referencing, and I don't think that you're far off with that they're literally quitting on him in the court, because they're going out there and they're like, he might be running sets during timeouts and be like, hey, here's what we're going to do, and Kevin Durant's like, oh, cool, so we're going to run a back screen set and like set up Chimezie Metu on this play. Cool. Like, I'm Kevin fucking Durant. But okay, so Kevin just like throws it out of bounds. I don't know. And that's I completely, like, I'm done with Vogel. I just am. I'm so over fake Vogel.
Yeah, it's always the first person to go is the coach. And you wouldn't have to probably get anybody else unless they're really fighting for Kevin Young as the option. They're like, you got to put him up front, because
get rid of him too.
Yeah, I guess. And
get rid of him too.
The way Vogel handles himself in the media, like the way he just looks at people, it's just like Like, can you imagine if you're a player and you're just like,
snarky.
Let's see if this works a little bit. And he's like, oh yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, sure. I don't know. He'd be a pain in the ass to look at.
Sure. Yeah, El Sol in the chat says Vogel, Monty, maybe Book and KD are the problem. Yeah, but they're the $60 million assets. So you know what? You got to make them happy at the end of the day. You're not just going to fire Kevin Durant. Mike Budenholzer is out there. I mean, if we want average coaches who've won championships with superstar players going nuclear in the finals, I mean, he did it. Frank Vogel did it too. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Bring in another guy, Doc Rivers, fuck it. Bring in Doc Rivers.
And the thing is, like, I know you're talking about the play, like, okay, we'll set up something for Metu, but the whole thing is like, Booker and KD can do whatever the hell they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the same thing with Ayton. Everything was like, oh, Ayton's not getting the ball enough. It's like Ayton could go get his if he wants to. And this is the same thing with Booker and Durant. Like, they just were making bad plays. Even Booker in situations setting up Eubanks a couple times, just throwing off his fucking knee or the defender's knee, throwing it out of bounds when Grayson Allen wasn't there. So you don't know. Again, it's like, is Grayson Allen like not in line of vision of Booker? Is this his fault or Booker's fault? We're doing that again.
Mm-hmm.
And just even Booker's body language after throwing the ball out of bounds, if you don't, it's like just like frustrated. And like the one time that Okogie cuts in from the corner and he throws it out of bounds, it's like, well, shoot the fucking ball, dude. You're mid-range, like, just shoot it. Why are you passing Okogie who's airballed twice almost from three already? So
it's
there's
a
so
lack
much
of
blame to go around.
confidence. It's a lack of confidence. This
whole team has it.
Is so unconfident that essentially what they're doing is they're passing up open shot. And we saw that numerous times. Eric Gordon had wide open threes. He's like, yeah, let's pass. So they pass around like 8 times and end up getting a horrible shot. So it's like, you know what? Just take the shot. Just take the
and I like the confidence thing too, because these guys need Kevin Durant and Booker to believe in them. Like, they really do. Like, you can see in the way that Eubanks is playing now, like, he's scared as shit to do anything. He doesn't want to mess up. He doesn't want to get yelled at. You know what I mean? Like, they're just so afraid of each other right now. It's just totally opposite from how they started the season.
I completely agree. The confidence is absolutely gone with this team. And it brings, the Devin Booker question back into play.
Big Dick Booker.
Another off night tonight, ends with a total of 20 points off 6 of 14 shooting, including 1 of 4 from beyond the arc. Had 10 assists, so he went for 20 and 10. Had 3 turnovers, 1 block, 1 steal. But you can see that he's frustrated. It's clear that he's frustrated. And as you said, Mr. Orange said Book not happy at all, sprinted off the court opposite of the Suns tunnel, which is the visitors tunnel. Ishbia was right after him. So it's going to be interesting to hear the quotes as they start to come through on what's going on. But Devin Booker, it's interesting. There's all of these preseason takes that people had about the Phoenix Suns, and we're like, no. It's like the Suns need a traditional point guard. We're like, no, we'll see. I mean, we got Bradley Beal and we got Devin Booker, and the playmaking has fallen on Devin Booker, right? And we talked about this last time you and I were both on the podcast together, and it's one of my observations is Devin Booker is getting those assists, right? Like I said, 20 and 10. Like he's one of only 3 players in the NBA to average over 27 points and over 8.3 assists a game. It's like him, Luka, and Trae Young. So like he is being a point guard. But what it has done is it has compromised his confidence as a shooter. I mean, his shooting has been bad. If you look at his effective field goal percentage, it's the lowest it's been since the 2018-19 season. And I think it's the headband, Matthew. I think it's the headband. I think it's time for Devin Booker to lose the headband. It's not working.
It's never been good for him. Never. I always remember seeing him in the headband just losing right after. I'm trying to look to see like if there was any quotes or anything after the game. And I think, Booker's saying it's on him and the leadership of Kevin Durant and Eric Gordon. So the only thing for me, I'll blame the headband. I'm with you on that. But also, like, what if it's just as simple as like, hey, I like to keep things calm here in Phoenix, right? I don't like to draw attention. And then you already have this season, you already have Eric Gordon talking stuff about not getting enough shots. And then you have what KD and what was released today, which was more likely just a KD thing. Maybe that just bugs Booker to death. And I like how you brought up his shot. It's just so strange how he's like right in his spot most of the time. And like the 2 passes I mentioned earlier to Eubanks, where he can just rise up and shoot, but he doesn't. So he's not picking and choosing wisely. I'm like, what? That just does not seem like Book. Like it seems like someone's really taking over his body, dude. Like he really traded his soul in for somebody, and he doesn't have a soul anymore. And it's just basically just Booker out there and no fire inside. It's a very strange thing to watch.
Well, I feel it's almost like a batter in baseball, right? Who starts to get in their own head, and you can see them in their own head during an at-bat. They're going through a slump, and all of a sudden, somebody who used to see the ball, hit the ball, launch the ball out of the park is now thinking, and they're like, is a curveball coming? Is it going to be high and away? Is it going to be low and inside? Is it a slider? And when they swing, they're completely missing. I said this a couple pods ago, and I still agree with this again, watching this tonight. Devin Booker is thinking too much because he's had to take on the role of primary ball handler and point guard on this team. He's overthinking possessions. Whereas in the past, he was an instinct player. See the ball, put the ball in the basket, call it a day. But now it's see the ball, drive around. I could put the ball in the basket, but I want to feed my team. Yeah. I got to keep these guys going if I want to be successful. So I'm going to dish out of my spot. And then what happens? Then at the end of the game, he starts to press. He's like, well, shit, I've been doing this all game, and it hasn't been working out. They haven't been hitting all the shots. So now I'm going to try to make it happen. And to his credit, he was 3 of 4 in the fourth quarter for 6 points, but it was the rest of his team that just started to fall off. I mean, he had 3 of the Suns' 9 made field goals in the fourth quarter. So he's trying to pick and choose his spots, and unfortunately, because of the rest of the team at times hasn't been there to support him, they've been losing. Tonight, the team was here to support him, but his shot was off again. From the field, 6 of 14. And his running mate, Kevin Durant, wasn't shooting. And when he wasn't hitting it. I mean, this was a very standoffish Kevin Durant game. This can be very, very interesting to see that news moving forward. Devin Booker in the post game said, no, we have to get it together. And that's on me. That's on coach. That's on KD, Eric, all the leaders we have in here to make sure that we're more prepared when it comes when we play. And it's the same fucking quote after every fucking game.
Yeah, they're not going to give us anything, and I don't expect them to at all. They're going to keep it in-house like Booker likes. I just think I like this quote a little bit where Albert says, I don't feel bad for Book. He wanted KD and blow up the team. I don't like it. I kind of disagree with it. I don't know if that was really a Booker thing to get KD here. I know they definitely wanted to play together, right? But like I feel like I just remember Book's face when the trade went down and like the couple games after. I think he was actually hurt. And he just looked like a wreck. He looked like a mess after that trade went down. He looked like he broke up with his girlfriend, right? So I don't know for sure that he wanted KD to come that late in the season and kind of blow things up. But yeah, of course he's happy to have him. And the whole KD thing with the shots, 11 shots tonight. But we weren't winning when he was scoring 40 either, right? So I don't know where else he's really going to help us out at if he's not scoring in these type of games where you have two other guys that definitely help you. Like if we could have used that 30-point game from him tonight, and it's like, well, who's the third guy to step up? We had a couple guys to step up, obviously, but I think there's too much going on in KD's head. And this is a thing with him coming into Phoenix. Everyone worried about him being kind of like not a basket case, but just a head case in a way where like Steve Nash always says, like, I don't know what he's always mad at. He's always mad at something. Maybe he's changed, maybe he's different, more positive. But now you just have that mindset where it's just like he's super, I don't know if I want to say where he is kind of sensitive in a way. So if he is not getting his looks and stuff, maybe he's going to be one of those guys like, okay, fine, you guys do it. You guys figure it out. I'm not going to.
The old Kobe Bryant strategy, right? Kobe Bryant back in 07 when, he's like, well, the media is dogging me because I don't pass the ball. Okay, all I'll do is pass the ball, and you'll see why I pass the ball. And I'll do it in a game 7 against the Suns, which we benefited from. And yeah, that's what we're going to be watching. And I think you're right. Kevin Durant is a sensitive guy. I mean, you see the way that he interacts on social media. He just goes on when people talk shit. He claps right back at him, and then he carries on with his day. But the proof is in the pudding, and what we saw from him tonight. And again, this is more of a blip for KD. He's averaging over 30 points. He's poured his heart and soul into this team. But maybe he's seeing things behind the scenes where he's just frustrated as well. He's like, dude, we're not getting better. There's nothing I can do to make us get better. So fuck it. Okay. I'm going to let everyone else, get their shots because everyone thinks that I'm shooting too much or there's too much isolation ball in the fourth quarter and things of that nature. And it's not productive. And it's something that the team has to work through. So a couple
really quick before you go on,
please.
There was, I think it was Metu, and a couple guys have always hinted at this in interviews where the Suns would go on runs. And then they would always be asked, like, what happened? Like, how come you guys just all of a sudden stopped moving the ball? Right. And then it was Metu and some other player. I forget who it was. Like, I don't know. Oh, it's Eubanks. Like, I don't know. The ball just stopped moving and we would just play ISO ball. That's hinting more at like KD.
Yeah.
I feel like, right. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but you can just see like players were getting frustrated where the Suns would go on runs. We would be tied. We would bring it within 2 or 4. And then all of a sudden it'd be like ISO ball again. So I can see how that's maybe a thing. I don't know. That might have been something.
Do you think that trading Kevin Durant is a viable option for this team?
It would be the most embarrassing thing ever. But I don't. Who would want him? Who would be the team? Would it be like Celtics thing where you get Jaylen Brown back or something like that?
So here's what you do. Okay, you reach out to the Nets and you're like, listen, we'll give you Kevin Durant. You give us back our 2003 unprotected, our 2005 unprotected, our 2007 unprotected, our 2008 swap, and our 2009 unprotected. Give us Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges too, and we'll give you Kevin Durant. Would the Nets say yes?
Oh,
so just redo the trade.
Yes.
Just
redo it. You know what, man? That would be so amazing. And like, I'm just saying, like, also, obviously with what's going on right now, that's our only out. So every Suns fan, 100% across the board would approve of that trade.
But that's the question, right? And I know that we have people who specifically listen and watch this podcast who are Kevin Durant fans, and you follow him from fan base to fan base.
We are too.
And I am too. And I'm prefacing that. Like, I am a massive Kevin Durant fan. But if we're looking at what outs exist for Phoenix, one of the only ones that does exist is trading Kevin Durant. And it's going to be interesting because between now and the trade deadline for the Suns, right? The trade deadline is, when is the trade deadline? Do you know offhand?
I do not. February 12th? Isn't it February?
It's in February. Let me, NBA
February
trade.
16th?
It's somewhere in there. I feel like that's it's February 8th. Okay. So February 8th. So the Suns play on February 8th. That's game 52. That's game 52. So that is 22 games from now. 22 games. The Suns have 22 games to figure this shit out. Because if not, you could potentially trade Kevin Durant. But here's the other side of this too. Kevin Durant might come out tomorrow and say, I want out of Phoenix. I like what they're doing in OKC right now. I'd really like to be a part of that experience and force his hand. It's possible. That
would be so miserable. Like if that actually happened, there would be, because the Suns would have no leverage again.
No, but it's not about leverage. They do have leverage because they have the contract, just like the Nets did, right? The Nets had leverage with KD. He wanted out, but he had just signed the extension. We still have like 3 years left on his contract, and they got a fucking haul.
That's
so
true.
Give us Chet.
KD was playing. He's playing good right now, but the Nets
Yeah.
were actually they were kind of winning games. But you saw the way the Suns looked when KD was playing like an MVP. We weren't winning, so I don't know if that's just the guys around him. I guess I don't know. I don't want to blame those guys because I feel like I liked our roster coming into this thing, and I still do.
I do too, and I think that it's there, but something's got to change.
This can't be happening.
Something's got to
Trade
change.
deadline talk again.
Yeah,
this year
on Christmas. Here's a guy we can trade. No, I'm just kidding. This guy played good tonight.
Hey, I just
met two.
And this is crazy, but here's my number.
4.
So call me maybe.
Chimezie Metu by himself, 23 points, had more points than Devin Booker and more points than Kevin Durant. He had more points than the entire bench for the Dallas Mavericks, a team that scored 128 points tonight. That's right. They had a total of 10 points off the bench. But when you have somebody go for 50, somebody go for 23, and somebody go for 20, that's kind of what happens. But Chimezie Metu, man, 9 of 18 from the field, 23 points, 19 rebounds for Chimezie Metu, Matthew. What a game from him. Finally, a bright spot. And some of the Suns' best lineups in the first half and the second half featured Chimezie Metu. I don't know how much more he's got to do to garner more minutes, but he's been the Suns' best and most prepared player for what his job is, and he's playing with heart. You got to keep this guy. He's definitely earned his spot in the rotation and then some, Matthew.
Yeah, this is a game he was kind of getting to, and now it's here. And it was kind of a wasted effort, but I love the effort. I love how, he turned the ball over today, and everyone heard on the hot mic from Booker, you're just going to you're going to turn the ball over, just stand there, not run back, helping out with Luka Doncic when he was going in for an easy lane. That's fine. And then KD's just standing on the other side, not moving either. And KD had 6 turnovers tonight. So I don't mind that, but that kind of lit a little bit underneath Metu the next few possessions, right? He went very aggressive at the rim. He was just very dominant in cutting tonight, man. He was really looking for the ball from everybody. And I knew this was in him, right? And I think it's just a perfect matchup really against the Mavericks for him just cutting and just kind of being the bigger guy in certain situations. The way that he's playing tonight really shows what they have in their bench, because he was one of the last guys really we're just like, well, we don't know yet, right? A lot of people were high on him, but we didn't know what we had. This is how deep we are. And I know we have it in every guy basically on that bench that they can step up and play these type of games once in a while to help us win a game. And we got it, and it was just wasted.
Again, yeah, wasted. And it's what we've been pining for, right? You take a look at some of their previous losses against lesser competition, and the challenge was we didn't have anybody else to complement Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. You needed a tremendous, and I'm not asking for him to go out and give you 23 every night. I think this was this a career high from him? I'm pretty sure that's the fact, and, so he goes out for we don't need a career high from him, but we just need some production. And he was giving us that production. And it's like you said, the way that he was moving off ball, the way that he was putting himself in position to be successful and to be utilized by Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Both of them found him on numerous occasions. Because of the sheer fact that while they were kind of running he was moving, he was cutting, he was making himself available. That's what you need. And I think that I'm hoping that this is kind of a breakout for him, a breakout game, because he's somebody who possesses some talent, and we saw it tonight.
Yeah, I was looking at the other guy. You're probably going to talk about next, Grayson Allen.
We'll talk about him
what's
next.
wrong with the Suns? He starts chuckling. I want to hear later on what he said, but he was asked it.
Oh, was he? Well, let's talk about our old buddy there, Grayson Allen.
Hi, Barbie.
Oh, hi, Alan.
Oh, Grayson Allen, our fuck shit up guy.
Grayson Allen tonight went absolutely insane in the third quarter. He ends 12 of 22 shooting, 8 of 17 from beyond the arc. He had 32 points to lead all Suns scores, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, a couple turnovers. But it was that third quarter where he absolutely went crazy. He has 19 in the third. He had more points through 3 quarters with 27 than Kevin Durant and Devin Booker combined, Matthew. Tell me what you think about that.
Oh, fucking beautiful. It's like when this team lacks confidence, we're talking about the whole team. He's the one guy you can always count on that will continue to fight no matter the score, no matter the attitude on the team. Like he has to, right? To stick in this league, man, he has to have that just aggressiveness and just that attitude where you kind of fear him, right? From the 3-point line, taking it to the rim. Like I love the fact that he came back in the game in the fourth and hit another three. Too.
Yes.
That was even more brilliant because usually guys get so cold after they go on those stretches, they don't make anything. But he makes like, what does he make, 3 in a row, then goes to the rim after missing 1 3 and then makes like 2 more in a row. So he's so versatile and he knows how to still find his teammates. If he can just him and Book just need to work out, because I think Grayson Allen's going to stick in the starting lineup no matter who comes back, no matter who plays, and he should. Him and Book need to really figure things out with their spacing and passing and stuff because things were a little off. Book missed them a few times, and there were big spots in the game where Allen was wide open, so he could have had even more points. So that's the one thing to kind of nitpick. But tonight was just, it's great, man. Gerald Bourguet did steal a tweet. I almost tweeted it, but I thought maybe it would be a little too sensitive and stuff about being an all white Christmas. And this is the white Christmas Phoenix fans have been waiting for with him and Grayson Allen and Luka Doncic. But yeah, of course, man, Grayson Allen's been like the one guy this season I've just loved every game.
Yeah, he's one of the few consistent guys. I mean, he's been shooting lights out from beyond the arc, and we continue to saw that tonight. He's somebody who does attack the cylinder and has some sneaky athleticism that I'm not sure that we even knew prior to him coming into Phoenix that he possessed. And he's, again, tonight was another quality performance that was just wasted. And that's, again, which just kind of pisses me off. It's like, man, we've had a great Grayson Allen game, 32 points. That's what you need. Those are the games where it's like, okay, even if Kevin Durant has an off game, like you should have the ability to win these kind of games. But because so many other things are wrong with the roster right now relative to attitude, effort, and execution, that it's unfortunate. So I do have what he said in the post-game press conference. So the audio might be a little funky here, so if you're listening, we apologize. But let's see what he said after the game.
I mean, it's frustrating, right? Like tonight, like we offensively, I feel like has been where we've been lacking a little bit. I feel like we've been in some games where if we had a normal shooting night, a normal offensive night, it would have been a W for us. Like tonight, like we have a pretty good all-around offensive night from everybody, and a guy scores 50. So, part of that is hats off to Luka. Like our game plan was throwing different bodies, doubling, throwing different looks at him, and he got hot with his step back threes and harped it up with some passing early, and it made it really difficult to guard for the rest of the game. So, I just think for our group, like we just gotta keep playing games. Like, I feel like every time we're out there, we're getting a little bit more together. You start to see little bits and pieces of stuff come together. Like we have great stretches. We have great quarters. Like we haven't put together a 48 where we can like truly say like this is our identity, this is who we are. But we have great stretches where you can really see it coming together. And the more and more games we play, I think we're going to start to put together some 48-minute stretches where that's who we are.
There was no chuckle in there, so I must have missed something. I got the wrong clip. But, I mean, he's 100% right. I mean, the only way to fix this is continue to try to work your way through it, but it's just I don't see it fucking happening. You're on mute.
All these comments about, we got to keep playing and stuff. It's all good. The only thing is we're seeing the frustration from the players, and when you hear about Booker running off the court from on the opposite side, that's bad. Like that just looks bad, and that's going to lead to bad shit. When he's pulling up to the press conference, just like fucking just itching his, oh my god, oh this sucks so much. Like when you see that, you're like, dude, there's something else. And obviously, like he mentioned, like the offense and stuff. I guess like it was a big thing with the defense. Fucking shit.
Yeah,
but whatever. That was a bad.
It's just
interview.
It's just so painful. There's no joy with this team. Like everything on this team feels so forced.
Yep.
Right? Like every time there's a defensive stop, it's a blessing because you feel like they can't stop anybody. And then they're lost offensively. They're careless with the ball. This team is one of the laziest basketball teams I've ever seen, Matthew.
Yeah.
relative to talent. When we had Marquise Chris and Alex Len and Dragon Bender and Devin Booker, young Devin Booker on the team, you'd watch these kind of games. You're like, oh man, like they need reps, right? Like this team needs reps to understand how to play the professional game of basketball. But this team is rostered with nothing but veterans or guys who are fighting for future contracts. And they're lazy. They're lazy with the ball. I've never seen anything like it. It's a bunch of DeAndre Aytons out there. It's like everybody's DeAndre. And every time you throw the ball, like you're like 3 times there's like passes where I'm like, oh shit, like you don't see the defender right there. It's just
Yeah, and Joey Lucio says, Darth, we normally see a book takeover game, and we have only seen it once. And it was the second game against the Spurs, and that's when the shit started to fall apart. Yeah, a little bit of that is true. I think that the whole book takeover thing, like that's the thing that I've just missed. And I don't care what quarter it's really in. He just hasn't had that.
Agreed. And
is that really schemes though, man? Like how much does it come down to, hey, I'm the coach, you're gonna be running these sets? And then Book did mention in his press conference, like, we're not executing those sets.
Yeah.
So is it just the sets? Is it him? Like I feel like him and Kevin Durant should have the say of what's really going on with the team.
Yeah,
but maybe I'm wrong.
But again, I think that part of it is you have Kevin Durant who wants the ball over here, who's made statements like after Jalen Brunson went off for 50 points against the Suns, Kevin Durant made some statements, and they at face value, it was no big deal. He's just like, when he's cooking, the team finds a way to got him the ball tonight. They continue to look for him. They continue to give him the ball. And it's like, well, is that passive aggressive? Is that you saying that the Suns aren't doing the same for you? They're not fanning your flames when you're hot? And that's how I kind of took what he was saying was he's like, just look at that, man. They really take care of him when he's hot, and not finishing his sentence for him, but the rest of the sentence could have been like, it'd be nice if my team did the same. So you have that, and you know that those conversations are going on with Devin Booker. And like I said earlier, like Booker he's a player in the middle right now. He doesn't know if he should be taking over or if he should be feeding his team. And that's the challenge that he's facing right now. And yeah, Mr. Big Shot, we are averaging 1 win a week in the month December. So fucking sad and true. And it's December 26th.
Oh my God, dude. I remember coming into the season, just like, oh, this is going to be the best season ever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't wait. I mean, I haven't looked at our Jamsters or our preseason jammies. Like, what is our record going to be? And how many All-NBA guys are we going to have?
Yeah.
And so it's a combination of things. It's a what's the phrase? It's a folly of multiple errors, whatever. Part of it, I honestly feel is coaching, because coaching is what kind of carries the shoulder times. But part of it is like understanding who and what your identity is in the fourth quarter. And to those who say, well, they've been injured, 2 things. 1, you are correct. The Suns have been injured. But Kevin Durant and Devin Booker have played in the majority of the games for this team. And you think that they'd have some understanding of who or what opposing defenses are trying to do to them, and trying to force them into what they're doing and make an adjustment off that, and who they are in the last 5 minutes of basketball games or in the fourth quarter of basketball games. Because again, the fourth quarter tonight was absolute garbage from the Phoenix Suns. They shoot they go 1 of 8 from beyond the arc in the fourth quarter, 12.5%. They score 22 points. They give up 37. They turn the ball over 6 times, leading to 10 points. For the Dallas Mavericks, it's the same record over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, this is personal hell. Like, if you
go ahead.
Die and I was go to hell, it would just be this. It would be the Suns losing in the same fashion over and over. They had a one lead, 92-91, going in the fourth quarter. They lost by a final score of 128 to 114. Embarrassing.
Even when that is happening, that lead, I still, at that time, I'll be honest, I still don't trust Booker and KD in those situations to close it out. I just don't. I don't know if that has to do with just like me watching their body language, but I just don't. I'm like, these guys are not going to pull it off. There's no way these guys have it in them to actually go up against Luka Doncic and just win the game. Those 2 guys cannot beat that guy. I don't believe in it. I just don't. And even when they have leads on the fourth, because I did. There's no way they're going to win.
I did.
Did you really?
I
just thought
did.
they were
I'm
so.
like-
I was
I'm
like
like,
setting
you
up.
know
I'm
what?
like, yeah, we're still gonna lose.
No, I'm sitting there. I'm like, you know what? Chimezie Metu, Grayson Allen, they've done their thing. And the front end of the fourth quarter, this team looked good. But there was a timeout. The Suns came out, turned the ball over, fouled Blake Lively, or whatever the guy's name is.
I was saying the same thing too.
Blake Lively,
Blake
Ryan Reynolds'
Lively.
wife on the other end.
I
Hit
thought
two
that was a country singer.
No, that's Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton. Okay.
Blake Lively's Ryan Reynolds' wife.
Nice.
We could all be so lucky. And so Lively hits 2 free throws, and the Suns, who were up 104 to 103, are now down 105, 104. They turn the ball over on the next possession. And then they give up a Luka Doncic 3. So that's 5 points. And then all of a sudden we're down, and that was it. Like, it was 104. So essentially, we'd gone up 104 to 103, and then we gave up like an 11-0 run. It was 114 to 104, like that, and the game was over. And again, that's part of that's KD. It like I said, it's not just one thing, and that's what makes it so frustrating as Suns fans. Is there's no quick fix because there's 25 fucking things that are wrong with this team. So it's like, okay, we can fix one of those aspects of the team, and the other 24 aspects are still fucked. And that's why I'm like, you just get rid of Frank Vogel, chop off the head and start all over again. I don't know. I
guess
I don't know.
It's such a bad look. It's because you got KD here, and KD's basically, it's like the same thing with Harden, right? I mean, it's going to be tough. So what do we do? Who do we get rid of, right? Who do we get rid of next? Or do I ask for a trade? Like that's the only option for this guy, KD.
Yeah.
And the quote is, it's the Suns can feel KD's frustration with the current roster.
Yes.
That KD, they can feel it from KD.
Yes.
Right? That stuff did not exist when the Suns were winning before this season, before KD got here. That was not a thing, right? And if we continue with that roster, it's probably still wouldn't be. You would obviously get rid of a guy like DA, but that's the one thing that we do miss is just how things were just kind of nice and neat around here. And if things did get out of hand, they would handle it, right? Even before when Booker got hurt, and then Mikal finally found his way, and DA was trying to take over. During that time was terrible, right? Nothing was ever leaked. Oh, fire Monty, do all this shit. We were frustrated at Ayton. We were frustrated at Mikal sometimes, but they never said anything behind the scenes. They got things done. They started kind of grooving before the trade deadline, and then we got the trade with KD. So I would like it to be handled that way, but it's too late now.
And again, some of the people out there on the Twitter sphere, because I tweeted that out and I said, remember when it was fun to when we used to watch the Phoenix Suns and they looked like they were having fun when they were playing. Remember those old days? It was like, well, that team lost in a game 7 to the fucking Mavericks. Like, oh, so that's what you want? You want that again? Like, it's like, yeah, we were the number 1 fucking seed. Like, it'd be nice to win fucking ball games again. Would you rather be down 14 and 15, 29 games in the season with no hope in sight? AGX says in the chat, trade ideas? No, I don't have any trade ideas because we don't have anything to trade. Nasir Little, what the fuck is that going to get us on the open market? Grayson Allen, the guy who just went for 32 points, he's $8 million, $9 million a year. We could trade him, or Nurkic. The guys who've been playing well, who are the guys who came over in the trade for DeAndre Ayton. Everybody else is a veteran minimum contract. Outside of trading Kevin Durant, there's not much we can really do with this team. We are who we are. We are who we think we are. And we fucking suck.
Wouldn't it be crazy to get to that point where it's like getting to, trading Booker by the end of this year? You know what I mean? Like by the end of the trade deadline. Like I'm just saying, because we already brought it up earlier.
I know.
And it's just like, it's kind of getting there in a way. That's why like 2 games ago, I'm like, this is the end. This is the end of our little run, the little Phoenix Suns run that we go on every once in 20 years.
It's already over.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Merry Christmas. I was hanging out in Dallas on their subreddit, and I was like, where is she? Nobody knew. But here's what they had to say about the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks on Christmas. What are you laughing at, Matthew?
You really want to know?
Yes.
You, and then I farted, but I think I muted the mic. I don't know.
That's what happens when you eat Elmer's on Christmas.
Green burritos.
I've been hooting the entire podcast. I just did again.
Okay, we're awesome.
This room
it around.
smells horrible.
All right, subreddit stakeout, okay. Dallas Mavericks. All right.
Jesus, Luka hates the Suns. 27.4 points per game for his second best ever. Jordan fucking hates the Suns. 34.1 points per game. What the fuck? Yeah, we want to know the same thing. And then he goes for 50 tonight. Big fat 0, 5-0 on us. Great, cool. Fuck you, Banks, you motherfucker. Like, why did somebody say that? It was after he missed that dunk at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, he hesitated on it. He thought about it too much, man. Should have just went for it.
Mad respect for Booker on congratulating Luka and his baby daughter. I still hope he has a terrible game. Devin, you are a fucking pussy.
Jeez.
They're so brutal in that Mavericks subreddit. They are obviously all about Luka, and anytime somebody on the possession doesn't do something right, it's like they're not supporting Luka. And there's a lot of, he's the daddy comments. Chimezie Metu is a fucking Mavs killer. He hit that game winner when he was with the Kings a couple of years ago. There you go. Same old story. Luka's Booker's father during the first half, because these bums supporting casts always destroy his hard work. Great job, Grant. You're terrible at everything else. Why not go ahead and just give them some free points while you're at it? They were dogging Grant Williams in this game.
He's
not good.
No, I don't like him. Never liked him.
10-point halftime lead to a 1-point deficit because Grayson Allen became Klay Thompson for a quarter. God, I hope Grayson Allen trips and snaps his leg. That's fucking
damn, dude.
So you guys know that's a Landman 2002 on Reddit. Feel free to stop by and get him, social media people. One of these days, Booger is gonna figure out. One of these days, Booger is gonna forget get his snap-on Lego beard, and it's gonna be awkward.
I like
but
that
it
one
actually
a lot.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
He's gonna forget his snap-on Lego beard. And it's gonna be awkward. And that is a real stakeout.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right. Yeah.
And just really quick, I wonder if Booker brought out the big guns to Kevin Durant, was like, we should have never traded your ass for Mikal Bridges. Or yeah. I wonder if he said that, like, you know what I mean? That would really hurt Katie, but
oh man. Whew. That would hurt. That would cut to the core, wouldn't it?
It would.
It's like, damn, Booker going deep on that one.
Let's hand out a little bit of jam stuff.
Jam star of the game.
I stopped tracking these. Grayson Allen. Although Chimezie Metu, obviously an honorable mention and a great job by Chimezie Metu in this game. But yeah, there you go. Next up for the Suns is the Rockets. We play next. Who do we play next? Is the Hornets?
No, it's the Rockets and then the Hornets. It's in Houston and then back home.
So Rockets is the 27th,
God, dude.
And we're gonna fucking lose the Rockets.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So Force Master, our next 4: Rockets, Hornets, Magic, Blazers. We have to go 4-0 to save our season. Those are 4 like winnable games, and we're gonna
at least 3-1. Magic though, man, I think we go 2-2, maybe 2-2.
And I see the Hornets. I see us losing the Hornets. Like the Suns have no fight in them, man. I mean, they had some fight in them today, but it took like a miracle third quarter from Grayson Allen for that to happen. And then like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, like, no. Listen, like, I know that you worked very hard to get us that lead. We'll take a shit on it in the 4th. Cool. Bye.
Yeah, we're not gonna back you up. Kevin Durant did say, I think I did a solid job providing them space, meaning Metu and Grayson Allen.
Oh, so he's the reason.
Yeah,
they had such a good game. Well, good for you, buddy. What's happening to myself? What a horrible Christmas.
You know what's so funny is like we knew we were gonna lose. Not, I guess maybe
I know, but I'm still frustrated.
Yeah, me too.
Just motherfucker.
All right.
Anything else you got, Matthew?
That's all I got, dude.
I gotta get up and go to work in the morning.
I don't want to work.
I don't want to work either.
I'm scared.
I'm terrified.
Well, Jamsters, we appreciate you hanging out with us, whether you're following us along live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, wherever you're following. We truly appreciate it. Taking a little time out of your Christmas to hang out with us. I see you, Mitchell, on Instagram. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. We'll be live after that Rockets game on Wednesday. God help us. We'll be live on Friday after the Hornets get. God help us. We'll be live after every game. God help us. So if you want to, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. If you're a podcast person and you listen to podcasts, head over to Apple Podcasts. Leave us 5 stars. Write a review. We'll read it right here on the pod. Lift our spirits up. We could definitely use it. It's been so long and since Big Beer Brother donated money to the podcast because we don't win games anymore. So on that, did you get any Christmas presents that you want to share with the crowd?
You and your fancy lady gave me an eye massager, which I'm very excited about.
Have you tried it yet?
I got some AirPods. I had some Beats before, but AirPods are, I think, a step up.
Nice. Have you tried the eye massager yet?
Yeah, I tried Emma's.
It's awesome.
Nice. I like it. I'm gonna try it tonight before I go to bed.
Nice, man. Pop some CBD and just get. I wish it'd have like a 30-minute mode though. It only has a 15-minute mode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it'd just be nice to zone out for 30 minutes. I'd like to zone out for 2.5 hours every time the Suns game come on. Just put on that eye massager. Because what you do is you put it on your eye.
You would know what's going on, dude.
Right,
it's just the same podcast over and over.
Yeah, you just exactly. Just get on and be like, let me guess. No defense. Kevin Durant turned the ball over a bunch in the fourth. Devin Booker doesn't know if he wants to be a point guard or a shooting guard. And we lost. Cool. That's the game. So tell them what to do.
Go home and love your Woj bombs.